friends, it's Melissa from Team Snuggle Bugz. I am currently 8.5 months pregnant and I am preparing for my third home birth with baby number 3. So today we are going to be walking through my ultimate home birth preparation checklist. So let's talk a bit about home birthing in Canada and a little bit more specifically within Ontario, because this is where I'm getting some of my home birthing stats from the Midwives of Ontario website. So did you know 19% of Ontario births are assisted with a midwife, and about 11% of births overall in Ontario are actually from home. So when I first, got the idea in my mind that I wanted to work with a midwife, which 19% of people do, I wanted to work with a midwife and that I was considering a home birth, I will fully admit my family, including my husband, were like a little bit of deer caught in the headlights. But over time, that experience really felt right for me. It just felt like that was a really natural environment for me to be in. I am lucky that I live in very close proximity to several different hospitals. So I had that as a bit of a fallback plan. And just over, the latter half of my pregnancy, I just kind of laid the breadcrumbs with my family, with my husband. We went to info sessions. We learned a lot about the home birthing experience online. And ultimately, we were able to proceed with that plan. So I found it really interesting that 11% of births in Ontario are from home. That's an incredible statistic. It's actually 6% of first births are from home, and 16% of second and beyond births are from home. Because I'm assuming, you maybe the first one you want to go to the hospital, feel comfortable, and then once you have a bit more confidence in the birthing experience and how it might go for you, then some people are more comfortable moving to a home environment. So for me, I was lucky that I worked with somebody. It was actually at Snuggle Bugz, and she was planning for a home birth experience and was sharing all of her kind of knowledge and rationale with me, and it just really stuck. And I thought that sounded like a really beautiful birthing experience. So then when I found myself expecting our first a couple years later, it was kind of an idea that had already rooted in my mind. Quick break, I needed to take off my overshirt. I'm boiling. Okay, so quick summary of my home birthing experiences. With my first, I was in labor for probably 8-9 hours. It was kind of overnight, Sunday night to Monday morning. My midwives, we called them about halfway through, and I was able to labor at home, and I actually had a water birth for that experience. With my second, it was, that is a hilarious birth story in and of itself, but I had about an hour-and-a-half long labor. I only realized that I was in labor 45 minutes into it. And our whole house was under renovation, including our main bathroom upstairs. So it was a little bit more chaotic. There was no tub to have a water birth in that time, but I still ended up delivering at home. It was a very fast delivery. My husband actually ended up delivering the baby, which was very unexpected and wild, but all turned out well there as well. So those are kind of just a quick summary of my 2 home birthing experiences and why I really wanted to pursue a home birth, just to share, was because I wanted to try to do a natural birth. So no epidural or, major pain meds or interventions. I honestly have nothing against it. I was very open to whatever direction my labor went. One of our preparation things that my husband and I did was watch YouTube videos of all different types of births. So cesareans, planned cesareans, unplanned, home birth, vaginal birth in the hospital, at a birth center, all these different places, so that I could really wrap my mind around all the different ways that the experience could go, because that's one of the things that labor is. It's a bit unpredictable, and sometimes things take a turn and go in a different direction. So I just wanted to be a little bit emotionally prepared for that. But anyways, so I wanted to try to do a natural labor, and I felt that I had a greater rate of success or greater chance of success if I was home and I didn't have somebody, offering me that epidural, because I didn't know that I'd be able to hold out if it was readily available to me. I also just felt, that it would be really nice and comfortable in my home environment. Hospitals are great, but I was like, it sounds really nice to be able to have a shower in my own shower and, walk around in my own bedroom during that laboring process. And I've also heard, I am not a medical professional, this is not medical advice, so this is just my experience, but I'd heard, that sometimes when you are laboring at home and then you make that trip to the hospital can sometimes disrupt your labor process and kind of stall things a little bit. I was also worried that if I did get into pain medications, that I might get into like a bit of an epidural Pitocin loop that can sometimes stall labor. So I was like, I'm just gonna let this flow as naturally as possible. If I can make it the whole way at home, great. If I do end up needing to go into the hospital, no biggie. I've got my stuff ready to go. So that is a little bit about my experience and some of my rationale for why I wanted to be home. I liked the idea of, after birth, I'm already parked here. I don't need to go anywhere. I don't need to do a big trip home. So that seemed really nice to me. Now, let's get into the meat of our home birth preparation checklist. So we're going to be going through how to prepare your home, which I've got in this laundry basket. Then we've got preparing mom and baby for the birthing and after birth experience. And then I've also got my go bag, which is my hospital bag in case things take a turn and ultimately I need to go to the hospital. So let's dive right in. So talking about kind of our home preparation side of things first, I just packed these laundry baskets so nicely and now I need to unpack them, but so worth it. Okay, so when you are preparing for home, basically it's a lot of towels and sheets. I don't know about midwives everywhere, but my midwives are angels and like they do a full kind of cleanup process. So when I labored in the tub, they tidied the room after, and then I went to the room where they did my check, and then they kind of cleaned up the bathroom, and it was just so amazing. So I'm not sure that that's everyone's experience. I don't know what the standard is, but mine was amazing, and I was highly impressed with, it's not like I had to have a baby and then immediately clean my house. Everything was in great shape. So that's because you prepare with some essential supplies. So a couple things that you'll want to have on hand first. So one is just a heating pad for your own comfort during and after labor. Then it's towels. So I've got a couple, towels for the floor. I've got washcloths, 6 to 8 washcloths. I've got 4 to 6 old towels. I'm saying these are old towels, but I'm not going to show you guys my super old towels on YouTube. That's for sure. Then you're going to want to have some extra sets of sheets and pillowcases, because ultimately you'll want to change your bedding probably. You'll want to lay down. So when you're changing your bedding, you'll want to lay down like a plastic sheet. The actual best hack for this is just go to the dollar store and get a plastic shower curtain. Put that underneath your sheets and then put your set of old sheets on top of that, just so that you are protecting your bed, your mattress, and all that fun stuff. Then my midwives actually prepare me with a few things. So they give you a drape, they give you some waterproof pads to kind of lay down wherever they are needed during the labor and delivery process. They also provided me with some paperwork and some kind of information that they need for tests for the baby after the baby's born. So I always just put that right in my home birth pack so that when the midwives are here, I can say everything you need is in this laundry basket. On my midwives list is also a flashlight. I don't exactly know why, maybe if the power goes out or something, but I put it in there anyways because they told me to. We've got hydrogen peroxide. This is helpful to have on hand and ready to go in case you do get a drop of blood on your carpet or on some towels by accident. And then one of my favorite essentials is definitely having a portable speaker on hand. With my second, I did not have time to do this. There was no setup. We were running around like crazy, but with my first, my birthing playlist was it brought me so much peace, especially because, you know, I wasn't doing a lot of pain relief. I had water and I had music to kind of provide a distraction and help create a mindset for myself. So having a portable speaker is an essential must-have for me. I actually have 2 birthing playlists on my Spotify. One is kind of like more of a birthing workout playlist, we'll call it, where it's like I need to get the energy going. Another one was kind of a little bit more meditative to create a Zen environment. And that worked really well for me because I was able to kind of see what my mood was and how I was feeling and create the right kind of tone for that environment. So that is all of our main essentials. Oh, I dropped my garbage bags. You'll also want to have garbage bags for any cleanup. And you'll also need to have a couple of Ziploc bags and bowls for your midwives, because this is where they put the placenta and everything when you're done. So all of that stuff is just going to go into my laundry basket, and we are ready to go from a home preparation standpoint. A couple of other small things you'll want to do is like make sure you've got hand soap in all of your bathrooms and that you're stocked up on bathroom supplies and that your bathrooms are clean. With my second, I mentioned he came quick, and our bathroom was under renovations, and literally minutes before, or as the baby was being born, essentially, my husband was running around cleaning the bathroom because yeah, it had been like the main kind of contractor. We had so many different people in and out of the house, and as I was laboring, he was like, "What do you want me to do?" And I was like, "Clean the bathroom." So definitely make sure you clean your bathrooms. You've got lots of towels and hand soap and all of the essentials, because there will be a lot of caregivers around to support you. Now let's talk about what's in my kit for mama during delivery and post-delivery, as well as baby. So I've brought up my secondary laundry basket. In my pouch, I've got a bunch of different grab and go snacks. I've got a water bottle ready to rock. And then for the birthing process, I just like to have a easy sports bra to wear, just something that I'm okay with potentially getting wet if I'm getting in and out of the water, maybe like some shorts, or Frida actually has a really nice delivery gown, which is quite a fan favorite. I also like to have a robe, so if I am going in and out of water or clothes are coming on and off, I've just got a basic robe here. And then after baby arrives, I like to have just a simple pair of button-down pajamas. I got these from H&M, but they're just nice and loose and easy to kind of unbutton so that you can get that chest-to-chest time with baby, and also easy access for nursing. After baby arrives, I like to put on a nursing bra. So I've got a couple nice options from Bravado. They're just honestly very simple, kind of pull to the side so that you're able to nurse. Finding those early kind of hours, you're kind of constantly trying different things with nursing. People want to see that nursing is going successfully if you are nursing. So that having a couple options on hand is very helpful. Now, this is kind of your mama postpartum care kit. So we have some of my absolute favorites, which I am so excited to be using with this home birth. So number one is our disposable postpartum underwear by Frida. These are the boy short ones. They have a ton of stretch, so they can really fit to any body. And they also have a nice wide crotch so that you can get those catch-all pads or a ice maxi pad in there. And they are just, as everything is very complicated down there right after delivery, it's nice to just kind of feel supported, pulled together, and you're not going to have any accidental messes on your hands. Now, the other thing is I've brought you the peri bottle that is provided by hospitals and midwives, and I've also brought the Frida peri bottle, which is by no word of a doubt, like leaps and bounds better than the hospital one. So I'm going to show you in this bowl just how different they are. So the hospital one is, I would say it kind of feels like a jet stream right after you give birth. So it's spraying out of the bowl. It's very aggressive. So Frida launched their own Peri bottle with the Frida Mom line, and it is ergonomic. So you can see as you're sitting on the toilet, you now have an ergonomic handle versus, finagling this in and around the toilet bowl to try to get your angle proper. It also has a nice kind of squeeze mechanism, and it has a really nice flow and pressure. So this is what the Frida Mom looks like. It's just a nice little stream. So I will definitely be using the Frida Peri bottle this time around. And I'm so relieved that there is a better product on the market, because you're going to be using this Peri bottle a lot, regardless of what type of labor you have. So it's great to have a good option in your arsenal. Now, other things in my postpartum recovery kit are your catch-all pad. So this is a catch-all pad by Frida Mom. With my first, Frida Mom hadn't launched in Canada yet. So I was using, like those massive pads that I could find at the drugstore, whatever was kind of the biggest. Some people like to use Depends, but Frida definitely saw an opportunity in the market to introduce a nice, really long, wide pad. It also has this really cool feature. It's a gusset in the pad itself. It has kind of these, instead of wings, where post delivery, you're clotting a lot. So there's a lot of kind of big chunks coming out. This, instead of having wings where those clots could kind of actually fall off the side of the pad, this has a gusset, which actually helps to contain and keep everything in so that the pad can then absorb as much as possible. And these are such a lifesaver. So I am thrilled to be using the Frida Mom catch-all pads this time. Another thing that I'm excited, I actually didn't try these last time, and I don't think that they had launched yet. So I'm excited to use these Instant Ice Maxi pads. So these are just basically gonna crack it in half, and you can put this pad right into your disposable postpartum underwear, and it's going to just provide so much relief in that post-birth experience. It's interesting to note, everyone really has a different experience. Some people have a lot of pain post-delivery, some people had no pain. With my first, I remember it hurt for a while, and I was loving, homemade padsicles or whatever I could get my hands on. I also ran out of my Tylenol and Advil too soon, and I was like, that's fine, I'll be fine. I was not fine. So definitely make sure that you have your pain management tools in place before you send your husband out in the middle of the night to Shoppers Drug Mart in the middle of COVID to get you emergency Tylenol and Advil. But these Instant Ice Maxi pads are such a game changer. They even have adhesive on them, so they will stay in your postpartum undies, no problem. The other thing, when I'm not using quite such a big Ice Maxi pad, that I do like to add into my catch-all pad is these liners. So this is a cooling pad liner. I found that this just provided a little bit of relief when I was starting to, get out of the house and in a little bit of discomfort. It was really nice to have these cooling pad liners. Then my other kind of side, so this is all for bottom care and recovery, plus my Tylenol and Advil. Then for top care and recovery, because a lot is going on with your boobs right after you have a baby. So there's some things that I find really helpful and essential at that time. Nipple butter. So this is the Earth Mama Organics nipple butter. I found the nipple effect was the worst right after delivery, because your nipples are not used to being chomped on for hours a day. So having this readily available and ready to go right after delivery was nice to just get ahead of everything. So I really like this Earth Mama Organics nipple butter. Then Frida has, so many brands have these, but this is a kind of a nursing pad that you can put in your bra, so that if you are, have a bit of overflow and you don't want to have milk stains all over the front of your shirt, these are really nice to have. These are a disposable option, which is great, but you can also buy a reusable option as well, which I've always kind of liked to interchange in and out. A couple other things that I like for boob care, as I'll call it, is Frida introduced these cooling hydrogel nipple pads. Oh my goodness, they're a dream. They go on your skin, they're super soft. They just provide like a cooling relief feel, like especially if you are feeling some irritation and discomfort. They come off and there's no residue. They are all open one up. They are truly wonderful, and I will definitely be having these in my postpartum kit. So it's this little thing you just peel off, and then this, I'm gonna call it the sticky side, even though it's not sticky at all, but this side will go on your nipple, and it is just, it has a really nice cooling effect. So definitely add these to your list. And last but not least, we've also got these Frida hot and cold breast relief packs. So these are amazing as well. You can put them in the freezer, and if you're dealing with a lot of pain and discomfort, maybe you've got mastitis or engorgement, throwing them in the freezer will really help to alleviate that pain. Or you can also throw these in the microwave for 20-30 seconds, and that can help with let down and comfort in that regard, and help you right before you're nursing or pumping to just really amp up your supply. So I really like these dual purpose Frida Mom hot and really cold packs. So that is my mom arsenal. Let's get into baby. So I've already preloaded my diaper caddy with everything I need for baby from birth. So this is actually the Skip Hop diaper caddy. It's got like a nice little light feature down here. There's also a really cute boucle one from Townsend Ave that I really like. It's even a bit bigger. So if you are a pack rat like me, that speaks to me. So in my diaper caddy for baby, number one is I've got my D drops ready to go. So that is something that your baby will need right after birth. My midwife gave me this sample, and then I will just go pick up more at the drugstore or at Snuggle. Then I've got my diapers. How cute are these? These are Terra diapers, so they are made more sustainably. The diaper itself can be put actually in the compost, which I love. So we've got our diapers and we've got our wipes for baby. Now, you can have two things to prepare for baby's first post-birth poop. So meconium poops are super sticky. They are very hard to clean from your baby's bottom. So one thing that my midwife team recommends is actually just having like a small vial of olive oil ready to go and putting olive oil on their bottoms. But I also really like the Baja Baby Diaper Balm, and I would put that on my baby's bottom right after birth so that when that meconium poop comes, it's not sticking quite so much to their bottom and you don't need to wipe so aggressively. Then for baby right after birth, I've got my pacifier. Some people like to hold off on the pacifier. All the power to you. I like to have it ready to go for baby. So I've got my pacifier, my Bibs Passy in the Passy pouch. And then another thing that you probably don't need within the first few minutes, but it's nice to have readily accessible within the first day or two, is actually a nail buff or nail clippers or a nail file. So I absolutely hate cutting my newborn's nails. I'm terrified of cutting their little fingers. So this time I have invested in the Frida Baby nail buffer, which I'm very excited to use. So you're just gonna turn it on and it just kind of files their nails down a little bit for you. It's got different sizes of files based on baby's age. So that just brings me a little bit of peace of mind and takes out a little bit of anxiety from that first nail cutting experience. Now on to baby's apparel. So I've got a couple things. You're gonna wanna have a couple swaddles ready to go. I've got this really nice soft pear swaddle that I have been obsessed with for all three of my kids. It's always in my delivery kit. Then I've also got this nice kind of stretch swaddle from Pip and Fee that I really like. And it goes with my baby's first outfit aesthetic, which isn't not a big deal. So I've also got baby's first little outfit. So I try to keep it very simple with baby's, first outfit, just a nice little sleeper. I do love dressing my boys in black. So each of my boys has kind of their newborn picture in a little black onesie. So I am excited to have this little Pip one on hand for baby number 3. I've got little scratch mittens so that they don't scratch up their little face. Their nails come out really long. So if you're not cutting their nails right away, you gotta have scratch mittens or else they're gonna be scratching themselves a little bit. Then I've also got my swaddle bag ready to go. So this is the Pip and Fee one where you've actually got snaps on the arms that keeps their arms in the swaddle bag so that they are, you know, when they're ready to have a snooze, you can have them nice and cozied up and they don't get that startle reflex that wakes them up. So I really like this one by Pip and Fee. There's also an ergo pouch cocoon swaddle bag that I have really loved with my other kids as well. And then I'm having a summer baby this time. So both of my boys were born in the winter. So I kept everything like long sleeves, long this, long that. This time I'm having a summer baby and I could not resist, oh my gosh, this little shorty set. How adorable is this? So I just put this in my kit just in case it's a particularly warm day and we want to make sure that babe is extra cool. So that is my prep for mama and baby all wrapped together. I almost forgot that I did get the new Snuggle Me Organics Curve baby lounger for this little babe. So I'm very excited to just have that on hand because, when you're doing a home birth, you need to kind of have spaces to set baby down. So between that and having our bedside bassinet set up and ready to go, baby has some areas to be chill. Okay, now, when preparing for a home birth, I like to be reasonable. As I said at the beginning, labors can kind of take any direction, and I like to be prepared as much as I can for potential surprises. With my first, I labored at home, birthed at home, everything was done at home, no issues. With my second, I labored and delivered at home and everything was fine, but then we did end up actually needing to go back. We needed to go to the hospital and we had a bit of a NICU stay, unrelated to the birth itself, but it was helpful to have my hospital bag already packed and ready to go, even though everything went totally fine with the delivery. So with that being said, here's what I would pack in kind of my hospital adjacent bag. Really, it's pretty simple. I'm bringing my laundry basket, which has everything for mama and baby in it. And then I'm adding a pillow to the mix. I'm adding my infant car seat to the mix, which would of course already be installed in my vehicle at this point. And then I've added in just some extras. So this is my hospital go bag, which I treated myself to at Costco recently. So I've added in just a nice plush towel for myself because if I'm having a shower at the hospital, I at least don't want to be using their like rough white ones. I've also added just a secondary going home outfit or hospital outfit. So this is just like a simple button down sweater. I did mention I'm giving birth in the summer, so I clearly haven't adequately prepared in that regard, but I used this sweater with my last little guy and it was just very easy to wear right after birth. We've got some socks, we've got some extra underwear, we've got important documents. So my birth plan is in here, my benefits documents are in here, anything that I need, my medical records and stuff that I feel are important to have are all in this folder. Then I've packed an extra water bottle just in case my current water bottle gets lost in the hubbub. I want to make sure I have a water bottle accessible, and I've got my toiletries. So my hospital bag is actually quite simple because it's really grab this tote, grab the car seat, and now grab this hospital bag and we're ready to go. So there you have it, the ultimate guide to preparing for a home birth based on my experience with 2 home births so far and 1 planned home birth with baby number 3 coming up. I'll have to report back on how it goes. For any links that we talked about today, I will put in the product description anything related to Snuggle Bugz. If you have not figured out your infant car seat and stroller situation yet, be sure to check out our Snuggle Bugz YouTube channel because at Snuggle Bugz, our mission is to instill confidence in families navigating the early stages of parenthood. A big way that we do that is through car seat and stroller education. So we have so many videos, roundups, individual product reviews, product comparisons to help you kind of figure out what car seat, stroller, and other baby gear is right for your family. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we will catch you on the next one.